Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Bolton Fan TV podcast. Me and Tyler are back yet again. Um, this podcast's going to be very different.
Controversial.
And
Controversial.
that's the word I was looking for, to be honest. It's probably not going to be around Bolton necessarily. Obviously, we will find ways to link Bolton to this. Not that we want to link them to this, but yeah, I mean, every football fan is probably sick of hearing about this. As are we. This Super League thing, quite frankly, is a massive disgrace. Obviously, I know a lot of you will be like listening and or watching and thinking, well, you're kind of late. That's kind of all stopped yesterday. Yes, we are late, but that's just because when we record this podcast. So, yeah, we are a little bit behind, but I mean, I don't think this is finished at all.
No, far from finished.
Yeah, we'll actually get onto that as well. But I mean, a quick rundown if for some reason you don't know what we're talking about. Basically, the so-called top six in the Premier League, so that's United, City, Tottenham, Arsenal. I'm missing people.
Liverpool, Chelsea.
Liverpool, Chelsea, they're the
Do you want me
ones.
just 13?
No, it's fine. And then Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico from La Liga, both Milan clubs, so that's AC and Inter, and Juventus, I believe. Was that ever confirmed? It was, right. But yeah, that's kind of. There was supposed to be like 12. I've definitely not listed 12, but yeah, a lot of the clubs. Well, not a lot, but you know. But yeah, I mean, they were basically going to form. I don't really know how to describe it other than like because to me the name Super League just doesn't fit because the Super League, you know, when you hear the words like a Super League, you think, oh my god, it's going to be like a grand occasion, you know, like a really big tournament is going to be a big deal. Instead, it's no promotion, no relegation, nothing really happens. I don't. It's basically you may as well just have a blooming, I don't know, friendlies every week against a big team. That's kind of what it screams to me, anyway. Um, but yeah, obviously, massive controversy, as should be because it is a disgrace. But yeah, I feel like Tyler may get a little angry in this one. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts? And I'm sure we're the same.
Off camera, I did do some gestures. So, yeah. It's an absolute shambles of why they've even started it. Trying to get to do it. Say 3/4 into the league. Wait till the league's finished. And then discuss it. And then think about it. Instead of just... Apparently, they've not even gone on what fans want. Doesn't want it, but now seems to relate to it. It's not happening, which is good. And the format was stupid because it said the top 6 teams, either 6 or 8 teams, will go into a Champions League knockout sort of format. Where the other 4...
It was like the American system, wasn't it? You know, like
yeah.
I think NBA is the best one where it's like they'll do a whole season and then the actual season starts. It's weird. Like, and then they actually play for the championship. It's baffling, but
yeah. Where apparently they said the bottom 4 will get replaced by another 4 teams from a team from England, or say England, Italy, Spain, France, or any other big team in them countries, and then, like I've said, going to Champions League sort of format, like knockout, and then to final. Apparently, they'll get the Super League trophy, and then...
Which means nothing, by the way.
Like, yeah, means nothing.
Literally nothing, because, like I just said then, like, it looked like, anyway, they were going for, like, the American style. So, it was kind of, obviously, like I said, there was no promotion, no relegation. pretty much all the teams in it are safe. Like there's no risk, so it's that becomes pointless. There's no competition. Like if you lose the game, you don't actually lose anything from it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird concept, to be quite honest. You know?
Yeah, I may hurt some fans here, like say United fans, Liverpool fans, like all the teams that's gone in it. There's a word that people may hate me saying this. They've gone in it for the greed of money. I'm putting
I don't think that's unfair. I think United fans will definitely agree, for sure.
They've done it for the greed of money. There's some managers that have agreed to it, but I know Klopp doesn't agree with it. Solskjaer doesn't.
Well,
The owners have gone.
That's a point, actually. We will talk about it a bit more in depth, but you know, the stories that came out when this not like first came out, but like, you know, managers and players didn't find out until like minutes before they kicked off for a game. So, you know, Ole apparently didn't find out until they were about to play. Was it Burnley? I think it was Burnley.
Yeah.
And
Klopp didn't find out until Leeds came out with them shirts.
Yeah, and which, by the way, I don't think Leeds have had enough credit. Like
I rate Leeds for that.
Like that's massive. Like they were the kind of, as a team, they're the only ones that have come out. You know, obviously other teams have come out now, but that's because it's ended. But again, we'll talk on that. But yeah, carry on.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, Solskjaer and Jurgen Klopp didn't even know about it. The owners have gone behind the own managers, like club back of the fans as well, and agreed to it. Yeah, and there is one chairman who is stepping down at the end of the season, which is Ed Woodward.
That's massive, by the way. That's like the only positive to come out of this. And that's coming from someone that's not even like remotely associated to Man United. Like, I don't support them, obviously. You know, it's essentially down the road, but I mean, you know. But you know, me and Tyler know, like in our friendship group, there's a couple of United fans. So we
my family, half my family,
and yeah, so we do kind of keep up, not like in depth, so we don't know everything that's going on or whatever, but we kind of have somewhat of an idea of what's, you know, happening now. Go on, you were saying.
I forgot what I was saying.
Anyone that's listening to this wouldn't have just seen the awkward blooming stare we've just done to each other. That was weird. But yeah, I mean, just the managers didn't find out until like, I think Jurgen Klopp say it was like 5 minutes before kickoff that he found out, something like that.
Yeah, 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes before.
Which is ridiculous. Like, you know, by the way, this may be a pretty long podcast, so I'd probably, you know, sit back, have a drink, have some snacks, because we might be here for a while. There's just a lot to talk about with this. And yeah, I mean, there's one of the main things as well is the fact that not only have all these like billionaire owners who are, I'm pretty sure they're all American, right?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Pretty much.
You've got one from Dubai, which is Cities.
Yeah.
You've got English, which is United, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal. Abramovich, I think he's...
United's a finger. The Glazers are American, I'm sure.
I don't really know.
Like we said, don't like quote us on these things. But yeah, I know Liverpool's is American because he was the first one to come out and do like an apology thing. But
Liverpool wasn't the first team. Arsenal was.
It was the first one I saw. But I mean, yeah, like all these billionaire owners have conspired behind everybody's back. Like, you know, the players didn't know, the manager didn't know, the staff definitely wouldn't have known, unless obviously they were, you know, higher up. But it's just ridiculous. Like, you know, as if they've not already got enough money. Like I said, billionaires. Like, they're running a football club. Obviously, Man United is probably the biggest example I can think of right now of, you know, owners they don't see it as a football club. They see it purely as a business. And like the football's kind of just something you've got to do. Because realistically, they don't sign the players they need. All they goes to whoever it was that was in charge of. Was it Edward Wood that was in charge of transfers? I don't know.
Yeah, like scouting agency and all.
Yeah, and obviously, he's probably the main reason the Sancho deal never happened, which would have been massive for United. Probably the reason most of their transfers that they wanted didn't happen. The Grealish transfer, that never happened. But yeah, I mean, like Tyler said, they've literally all done this because they're greedy. Like, did they want more money?
They would have got an extra 4.1 billion from it just for an entry.
Ridiculous. Because again,
that's not even final price. That's just for entry into it. That's the extra money.
But that's actually a point as well. Actually, and like also as well, we may go off onto many different tangents here, but
yeah,
if you're a regular listener, you'll probably just expect that from us now. So, but yeah, I mean, the interesting thing was, or at least one thing that's in my head right now, and if I don't talk about it now, I'll probably forget it. So, I don't know which one said it, but like which owner or whoever, but somebody said that basically it was a good thing because then it meant that, small clubs would benefit.
Oh, I know who you mean.
By the way, that's not a quote, but it's something like that. And
either an English club or a Spanish club.
It was one of them. And I don't see how. Now, look, I'll be honest. I do see. This is going to be a little bit controversial again, but I do see some positives to the idea of the Super League. To be honest, not like it actually happening, but like I can see, there are a few people that agree with it. I don't agree with it. Let me just get that straight. I do not want this to happen. But if you look at it, if it was to happen, and obviously, like the Prem clubs wouldn't have been allowed to be in the Premier League, Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. They're basically disowned by England, let's say. And the only reason that smaller clubs would benefit from that is because then the league opens up. That is literally the only way. Like, they don't benefit from money, obviously, unless that season happens, and then, but then it's like, at that point, there's no passion in the game. There's genuinely no passion. Like, you're going to have probably, a few more surprises, but realistically, it's going to come. Honestly, the Premier League can go around in circles, right? Even if you do take out those top 6 clubs or those top 5 and Tottenham, if you take them out,
Jesus Christ,
I had to.
You've got hatred for them or something.
Nah, it's just that I've seen everybody do it, so I was like, sack it. But yeah, like even if you take out those 6 clubs, maybe.
So you're not make top 4 because Tottenham and Arsenal.
I mean, sure, but
if you do it, I do it.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you take out those 6 clubs, the first 2 seasons might be where it's like, it's fresh, it's new, and it's exciting almost, and that's when you'll get a surprise club come through and maybe win it. But then after that, it's going to be pretty predictable because the Premier League will always circle back to being predictable in some way. If you take out those 6 clubs, Leicester's going to be in the top 3 at least.
If you took them out this season, Leicester would win the league, West Ham would finish 2nd.
Well, yeah. So, like, very quickly, the Premier League it will go back to how it was. It's just it will be different clubs that are almost in charge. So, the top 5, 6 teams would eventually start being a lot more repetitive. You'd have like your West Broms towards the bottom, your Sheffield, well, not anymore, but sorry, Sheffield fans, but yeah, like the Premier League table will just be predictable eventually. It might take 2, 3, maybe even 4 seasons, but then it'd just be predictable again. And yeah, the only other way, again, I see it benefiting smaller clubs is that, more clubs or smaller clubs. See, I'm trying not to offend people, but words are just coming out at this point, I'll be honest. Not small club. But like, sure, you know what? We're going with small clubs. If you get offended, you get offended. Deal with it, okay? But yeah, smaller clubs like, let's say, I don't know, Wolves. They're not a small.
No. You have just offended people with that.
See, this is where it's difficult. Like,
right, small clubs. It means West Brom. Your West Brom's, your Sheffield United.
Basically, any team that's not in the top 6 is what I'm trying to say. So you'd get like your Wolves getting into the Europa League or Champions League. You'd have, teams like that are pushing in. You'd have your West Hams in Europe all the time. You'd have Leicester back in Europe. That's the only way smaller teams benefit. And yes, they earn money from those competitions, but in the long run, it doesn't actually help them that much because they've almost been handed it rather than earning it. The prime example that's like coming up now is Leicester in 2016 when they won the league, because that gave every single football fan hope. It was like, oh well, I mean, if Leicester can go from the bottom and shoot up and win the league, then it can be anyone.
That may link in a certain team.
I did think it crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, it's just, it just does not benefit anybody really, because the way all these billionaires are looking at it is they don't want local fans, which is why they want to take, let's say Manchester United away from Manchester. They want to be playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico every week. In like places like New York, all over the place. Which then obviously means a lot of people, because the UK economy is not great, to say the least, especially now due to COVID and stuff. But, that just means that you've got to be like filthy rich to go to the games, or you've got to be obviously in the town where it is. So like if you're in New York, that's obviously then, you'll probably be able to potentially afford it. But they just want it. They want to make the clubs like almost known worldwide, even though like, a club like Manchester United, let's be honest, it's pretty much worldwide at this point. But the Glazers, it goes back to greed, because the Glazers can never get enough. All of them can't get enough, really. At the end of the day, they just want more money. That's it. Like, they're not bothered. I mean, realistically, if they cared about the fans, they would have kind of, somebody would have come out and said, "Oh, we're thinking of doing this. We kind of want your thoughts on it," kind of thing, or at least hint at it, But with literally nothing. And then I think Florentino, I don't know what it's called. Don't care, to be honest.
Yeah, Florentino. But, whatever his second name is.
He also said, or hinted / made a mistake, I don't know. But basically, they've apparently been planning this for 3 years or something like that, which is mind-boggling because, and then they expect now as well that it's collapsed to kind of just carry on as if nothing happened. Like, no, you literally tried to kill football. You
it's still going to ruin fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's already been damage done by it, for sure, because now the fans aren't going to trust the owners of their clubs, which obviously United didn't anyway. But, Man City is the biggest surprise, I think, because, let's be honest,
Man City and Chelsea, they've got big owners.
Like, Man City, though, is the I'd say the one that springs to mind more, because I don't know a lot about Chelsea's, they're not as high profile, I'd say, unless you're a Chelsea fan. But, to have that investment come from Abu Dhabi and stuff, and, they've like built a whole community around them, haven't they? Like, the massive Man City training complex and whatever. But then just in that general community, like, they've helped the community a lot, which, that's why it was such a surprise when Man City was one of the teams, and it was kind of like, really? Like, you don't need to do this. And again, I know they've got money, but like, you really don't need to do this. Like, you have the trust of the fans. You've shown that you do care about the fans, but obviously then there's still going to be no trust issues. I mean, United, like we said, didn't trust their fans anyway. Didn't trust their owners anyway. Now it's kind of just tensions are just going to be at an all-time high now because,
especially with the like final games of the season, like 6 games of the Prem. And,
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the thing is as well, what's even worse is that they didn't even give us time to process it. Almost, it's a very much
it was just
like
out the blue.
it's not even just that. It's just like you think about how quick they wanted to get this going. Like they were going to start in August. That's what 4 months, something like that. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Like 4 months to set up this whole like massive league that was going to be a big deal, and then now because the fans disagreed, they're like, oh no, we'll kind of just step back, we'll apologise, and hope that everything's better again. Like no, that's not how it works. Like you tried to kill something that pretty much everybody is affected by. Like even if you're not a football fan, you're still going to have been affected by this in some way, whether it's somebody that really loves football, or your kids, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, and anyone. But yeah, I mean, it truly affects everyone. And
one, I'll think this is a good bit of thing that's coming out of this. What they've done is they've said to the teams that's been involved in it, like the players have the right to terminate the contracts if they feel like they don't want to be part of that club anymore. So Ronaldo could, Messi.
To me though, I don't think players like that would. Messi might do just because it's a way out of Barcelona, but realistically, Ronaldo, he's let's be honest, he's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So I don't think he's going to look and be like, oh yeah, you know what, Italy's a bit too easy. And, he's going to want the extra competition, realistically. I would imagine anyway. I don't know. But I don't know, because up to now, those clubs haven't really spoken about it. I think both Inter clubs have pulled out. I'm not sure. I think that happened.
The teams that pulled out yesterday was Inter, Atleti, and there's another. I don't think it's AC. I think it's Juve's pulled out.
I didn't see anything about you. I don't know. Like we've probably should have made notes on this, but it's fine. But yeah, I mean, Barcelona are definitely still like debating. Obviously, Real Madrid are never going to willingly pull out of this ever. So, at least 2 of the Spanish clubs are still in it. But that actually brings me on to next thing. The reason it's definitely not over is the fact that, Perez seems to think, or, whatever, that these contracts are binding. So meaning they cannot get out of it, which...
There's a word I want to say to describe him, but I'm not.
I'll be honest, though, I wouldn't be surprised. Because you look at football contracts, like even individual player contracts, they are binding. Like you can't just choose when to leave. Like a player halfway through a season can't just be like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm done here. I want to move. Like you have to give weeks notice, and even then you're not allowed to leave until the transfer window opens. There's still restrictions. Obviously, I know it's completely different, but they've signed that contract now, which, in my opinion, I think, because there is a rule in the Premier League, as was brought up, that you're not allowed to participate in any other competitions other than, like the FA Cup, Champions League, Europa League, Carabao Cup.
Yeah, because it has to go through like all legal documents, doesn't it?
Yeah, which obviously this Super League definitely hasn't done. And to me personally, I think that, if, they've still signed that contract, I personally think that they all should be kicked out, if I'm completely honest. And then if the Super League doesn't happen, tough. It's almost like, you made your bed, lie in it. Because
Just take them out for a season or
not even that.
longer.
Like, because it's, they've already broken the rules by signing up for it. Okay, they haven't played a game yet, but they've signed up for it. Like, you've still broken the rules though, and just
they should get punishments though.
Well, a lot of people are saying that they want the teams to be relegated, but I think that's unfair.
Imagine.
But I think that's massively unfair, because then you drop down those top 6 to the Championship. By the way, I'm not saying it's unfair on the top 6. I don't care what happens to them, if I'm completely honest. But it's unfair for the other teams.
There'll be 3 of them coming back up straight anyway next season. Anyway.
I mean, it's unfair for the rest of the teams in the Championship, because, you look at it, the top 6 are going to dominate that league. It's just facts, blooming Bruno Fernandes in the Championship. Like, come on. He's going to bang in, like Kevin De Bruyne, sack that. Blooming, like, I personally, like, I don't
Virgil
see...
van Dijk
I think, right, that, like, the biggest punishment they're going to get, maybe a fine. Yeah. Maybe a points deduction, or they start on, minus whatever.
They was talking about that.
Because then at least if they've had a points deduction, some of them may get relegated anyway, which that's more, I'd say, I don't know, obviously it's not fair again, because then, the following season, the Championship clubs are just going to struggle against those teams. But I'd say that's a better way to deal with it, if I'm honest. But I think I don't think FIFA, UEFA, or whoever are going to actually do anything. They're just going to be like, oh, you know what? Well, you came to your senses, but, it is what it is. It happened. We'll just move on.
Yeah, going on the point deduction talk, there was talks of them not doing the minus 12, but doubling it to minus 24, because what they've done.
Well, yeah, I personally do think they should, because, again, they've already broken the rules.
They need summer, because if they get off with this, fans will be annoyed. Everyone will be annoyed.
I mean, everyone's already annoyed, but I know what you mean. But I mean, I just don't understand what's gone through the head. Well, I do understand what's gone through the head, money. But, in terms of, like, how they've just managed to almost discard years and years and years of history is mental. Because at the end of the day, as much as football is about the present and it's ever changing, it's definitely still all about the past. Like, you've got to remember where you came from. Bolton, for example, but we weren't always called Bolton Wanderers. We were Christchurch FC to begin with, and then we've evolved. Eventually, we got the nickname the Trotters and whatever, and Bolton Wanderers because we literally wandered. That's quite it. And yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's just like stuff like that. And then obviously, we've won the FA Cup on a few occasions, 4 occasions. So you know it now. But when we did the little questions thing. But yeah, for like, obviously the history for other clubs, for like the big 6, I don't think the history is necessarily as rich as most. That's going to offend a lot of people, I know. But, like, again, going back to Bolton, we started off as like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but, it was set up by a priest, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm just honestly, I've made a link between Christchurch. I would assume it was by a church, but anyway, yeah. So we were formed out of religion almost, and you know, I've done this before for an English like essay thing, hence why I have a rough idea of what I'm talking about, but not really. um, but yeah, I mean, just coming from stuff like that, like to see how far a club's come, like your Uniteds and stuff like that, they seem to have just always been there, which is kind of like they've not necessarily had too many um, issues or like setbacks. Whereas club like Bolton, we've had men. I mean, we're sat in League Two. Like, I mean, it's all part of it because at the end of the day, it's all football. Stuff happens. But like, I don't remember United going through, a massive setback. Like being relegated and then having to come back up, or being relegated like 2 seasons in a row. But yeah, I mean, do correct me if I am wrong, because obviously I don't know. But yeah, I think we've covered a lot of what we wanted to, but I mean, there's definitely a lot more. Like,
what made me laugh was they come out and said the players that have gone in like club wise, not allowed to participate in the Euros or World Cup.
I forgot about that.
A few minutes, hours later, clubs were pulling out. City pulling out, Arsenal pulling out, Liverpool pulling out, just because they want to go to the World Cup.
Well, yeah. Well, you say that as if it's like they're not supposed to want to go. Like, because look, realistically, right? I think I'm gonna have the same opinion as a lot of football fans. If the players or any of the players from the England squad wanted to play in the Super League, that's fine. Like you know what? You've made your decision. You do you, almost. Obviously, I wouldn't agree with it, but you do you. Even if it's like a Harry Kane, even if someone like Harry Kane decided, to stick around almost, let's say it hadn't collapsed and it went ahead, I'd still support, like, obviously Kane would be a massive miss in the England team, but I'd still support, him not being allowed to play. Same with, I don't know, I was going to say Grealish then realised he's not top 6 club, but, or like someone like Rashford, someone like Sterling, I know Rashford never would, just, but still, like people like that, like the high profile players we have in the England squad, yeah, okay, we'd be affected negatively during tournaments, but at the end of the day, you've been a part of almost killing football, so you deserve it. Like us as England fans, sure, we might not make it as far in the Euros. I know there's going to be a lot of 50-50s on that, but
No,
it's just I completely would have agreed with any of those like measures, just because at the end of the day, again, it's trying to kill something that pretty much everybody loves in this country. Like, football was made in England. Like, it started here, and it will sadly probably end here at some point. And yeah, I don't know. It's just so what? Did you not agree with, like, them not being allowed to play or for the Euros and stuff?
No, I agreed with it because it is, they do deserve not to play in the Euros or World Cup because they've gone behind. They'll be going behind everyone's backs about it. So why should they play for the team when they're going behind? They're doing illegal football stuff. So why do they deserve to go on that pitch and respect that badge on the shirts?
Yeah, because again, like the main point is, football very well could have died, which would have affected many people across the world, not even just in like England, but across the world. But I mean, another interesting point as well that I think somebody brought up was, why especially from England, why are those teams the top 6? Like your Man City, you can understand why they're up there, but like, and sure, we'll say you can understand why United are up there, but like Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, like
What did you just say? Did you just question Liverpool?
30 years to win the Premier League title, and then the season after they've won it, they want to dip.
They've won the Club World Cup, Champions League, the league title, an English consecutive title in one season.
But but like, who cares about the Club World Cup besides Liverpool fans? No one. I forgot that was even a thing. To be completely honest, Champions League, I'll give you.
Well, I'm keeping myself quiet.
But then, like, I mean, no, like, there's no doubt in Liverpool are a big club. Just, I don't think they deserved to be classified as one of the top 6. Like, I know they placed in the top 6, but I don't even think it had anything to do with that. Because, also as well, one of the things I find a little bit odd about it's the timing of it all. Because you look at the Premier League table right now, the top 6 isn't as predictable as other seasons. West Ham are up there. And it seems awfully suspicious, to say the least, that as soon as another team's breaking through and looks like they could do a very similar thing to what Leicester did, now there was talks of just, almost bailing out, kind of. It is very weird to me. But, yeah, we went off a tangent there. I don't know. Oh, Liverpool. But, like, Tottenham, they haven't won anything for God knows how long. They've not, again, Liverpool, though, it took them 30 years to win the Premier League. They win it, and then they want out immediately. That doesn't add up to me. And the Champions League, like, they finally win that again, and then they want out. It doesn't add up. Chelsea haven't had the best. I think they've won Carabao Cup. No, I might have made that up. But either Chelsea haven't won anything, or they've only won like a Carabao Cup. They've made it to a couple of FA Cup finals, I think. But yeah, I mean, it just baffles me. Like, again, you can understand why City are up there and United are up there. Other than that, I don't know why the rest have been classified as top 6, other than the fact that they placed top 6. But I don't think it had anything to do with that. Obviously, Arsenal right now, Jesus Christ, they're nowhere near top 6. I mean, they are, but not. Like, they're like 9th, 10th, or something, maybe lower. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea as well are just having a nightmare, to be completely honest. Yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about on the Super League. I think we've kind of ranted about most of the things we wanted to. I do think there's definitely still a lot we haven't spoken about, but like we've said, I don't think this is going to be ending anytime soon, if I'm honest. And on that, actually, I do think in some capacity something like this is going to happen. And that actually, Perez has said the same thing, essentially. He's basically said that, all like these clubs are backing out, but he still thinks that, if this one doesn't work, something like it will, which is almost an exact quote. He still thinks that this is going to happen. I've actually just remembered as well. An interesting thing as well, there was supposed to be 3 more clubs joining it, wasn't there?
There were meant to be 20 clubs in total.
So there was obviously the 6 from England, from the Prem. There was Barca, Real, Atletico, Juve, and then both Inters. And then there was like an expected other 3 to join. They were never named, so obviously we don't know who that is. They technically could still be in it.
Sources were saying Porto
came out and flat out rejected it, though, didn't they? So did Dortmund.
So that'd lead up to 15. Celtic and Rangers make it 17.
But that was a thing.
And then PSG, Lyon, unnamed club.
Like, I mean, there's a couple of them clubs that came out pretty much straight away and said, no, we're not doing that. Like PSG said that they didn't want to be a part of it. Bayern and Dortmund said they didn't want to be a part of it. Porto flat out denied it and were almost disgusted to be even linked with it. So I don't know.
Rangers have said they'd go win it.
Of course they would, bro. It's Rangers. They need anything.
Rangers. If you do win it, get battered.
Oh, Christ. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that. Into Rangers and Celtic and whatever. But, yeah, I think now we'll kind of link it back now to Bolton. Obviously, we're down to the final 3 games now. 4 games, I can count. No,
Morecambe.
we're on
Yeah, Morecambe, Exeter and Crawley.
Yeah, we've got 3 games left. I mean, okay, I'll be honest. I was going to say what I've said in the past few, like we can't really complain. I can. Obviously, we're getting wins still. I know we lost the other week, but, shut up. Yeah, but I mean, again, we're just not scoring enough goals. That's my issue. Like, especially now, we need to be putting games beyond doubt. Like, we should not have only won 1-0 on Tuesday. We should have, it should have at least been 2-0, but one was cleared off the line. Can't really do a lot about that. But, I mean, just in general, our form's very good, obviously. We're sat 3rd right now, which, by the way, I've said to Tyler multiple times, I'll be honest, I think we may bottle this. Obviously, I don't want us to, so don't get that twisted and be like, oh my God, you're a fake fan. I'm just saying, if you look at Bolton's track record for situations like this, with the exception of the Forest game, we have a track record for bottling these situations. We're sat 3rd right now, and obviously the worst that can happen is we end up in playoffs, which is fine. We've still got a chance, but that's just stressful. Like, which is why I said
chance against a team we absolutely despise.
Yeah, I said it on the last podcast. I'd much rather win games and go into games with the mentality of let's hold 3rd. Let's get the points, but not because we want to push the table, because we want to at least guarantee promotion. I know Everett said that he's still confident we can win the league, which I back you 100%, but like, I'd rather just get a promotion if I'm completely honest. I'd rather push 2nd, right? I'd rather push 2nd and guarantee it than try and push for 1st and then come back into playoffs and then potentially bottle the playoffs. I don't want to watch Bolton in the playoffs. I don't. It's like, we've said it earlier on in the season, like, if we get playoffs, it's going to be like watching England on penalties. It's like, we will brick it. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of you will probably disagree, and you'll be like, yeah, you know what, why not? Let's go for it. And I get that. But me personally, I'd just rather go up. I'd rather just go up. But I mean,
literally, my thoughts was when we lost to Grimsby, I got annoyed because we could have gone top.
We could have at least gone 2nd on that day.
True. And then if we won, which we did on Tuesday, could have extended the gap further from 4th, who would play on Saturday.
Saturday is a must win, and I cannot stress that enough. Morecambe are how many points behind?
1
point behind us. If we can
and they've been battering teams.
Exactly. The past 2 games, I think they've scored 4 goals in both of them.
They battered the team we lost to 4-0, and we only scored 1.
You know what's funny though, right? When we look back at the season, right? By the way, I think this is the quickest the football season's ever gone. Jesus Christ.
COVID.
It literally seems like 2 seconds ago that me and Tyler started this podcast and was like, hyped for the season. Now it's over almost. Like, how did we get here? That's why on many of the podcasts, I don't know who we've just played. It all blurs together. I don't get it. But
He
what
would
was I
have
going
been
to say?
stuffed if I weren't here.
Oh yeah, massively. What was I saying? But yeah, that Grimsby game, you know, we could have at least gone second because was it Cambridge that lost? No, Cambridge.
They
won.
both lost.
Cheltenham choked.
They both lost.
No. On the Grimsby day, I'm pretty sure Cambridge won because that's why we would have only gone second.
Well, Cheltenham lost to Crawley.
Yeah, Cheltenham
lost. Someone drew.
Yeah, it wasn't top three, so I wasn't interested. But yeah, because going into that Grimsby game, Cheltenham were at the top, then it was Cambridge, then it was us. And then Cheltenham
and yet
lost.
People in Sky were saying, "Oh, Bolton are favourites to go top now."
Yeah, that happened.
20 seconds in.
That honestly, bro, that game was a joke. And then what made it worse as well, right? We switched it on in the 90th minute. Like we score a goal in the 90th minute. Like okay, cool, but like a bit earlier, lads.
96th minute, Miller scores a cracking goal. Whistle goes.
Not given, unreal. But yeah. Who did we play the other day? I've completely forgotten.
Carlisle,
that's the one. I mean, Carlisle, I'd still say it was a fairly comfortable game. Obviously, again, the goals didn't show it. But Santos, again, massive W.
He's getting... Right. Saying this now, team of the season tomorrow, Ricky Santos is in it. Saying it right now.
I don't reckon he'll get one, if I'm completely honest.
If he doesn't...
You've got to remember, it's EA logic. EA don't make sense.
Let's put the bottom team's defender in. Let's put a middle team's striker in.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past blooming EA to put blooming Krellin as a blooming team of the season at this point. I'm not going to lie. Even though, obviously, that's not me saying I want him in team of the season because, let's be honest, he was diabolical. But it's EA. But anyway, yeah, the Carlisle game, I think we should have at least won 2-0. At least.
3-0.
I mean, I watched the highlights. You know, the only... I don't know. I'd say 2-0, to be honest.
If Atherline scored.
Yeah, but I mean, then Doyle scored, so it was fine. What?
Yeah, but we want Atherline to score, though.
That doesn't mean... What? Anyway, but yeah, that was very unlucky from Atherline. Obviously, you know, we keep predicting him to get a goal. It just doesn't happen. But I think Atherline's still going to be a very key player. I do hope we can at least extend his loan at the bare minimum. Whether it'll happen, different question.
I've seen a thing on Twitter when he posted the goal. Someone put sign the deal, and he put question mark maybe.
Listen, to be honest, he could just be trolling us and getting us gassed, you know. But like Adam Lafondra a few months ago, I won't get into that situation. But you know,
free agent.
But yeah, we just got to wait and see with that. Obviously, by the way, as well, I do want to give. I'll do it probably in the outro, but I want to give a quick rundown of what our plans are for obviously after the season's finished, because we are still new to this, so it's, you know, we're still learning.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't really even know this. I'm just going to make it up, but we'll go with it. But yeah, as we mentioned, we're against Morecambe. That's the one. I was going to say Cheltenham then for some reason. But yeah, we're against Morecambe on Saturday. I'll be honest, bricking it. Can't lie. The thing is, it's because now it's such high risk. Like, you know, if we were sat, like, let's say, third halfway through the season, I'd be a lot more calmer because, it's, you know, we've got a lot more games. But no, it's because we can literally lose everything here, you know? We could genuinely bottle blooming top three. Then we could
stop saying
playoff.
Stop saying that.
Just saying we could. We have to prepare ourselves mentally.
No, because you say stuff and it happens.
I don't know what you're talking about personally.
You've said we'd lose the day before a game and we lost.
Listen, yeah, but listen. Until that final game of the season's done, I refuse to accept that we will get promoted. Just so, if it doesn't happen, in my head, I've not been let down. Everyone else will be fuming. I'll still be fuming. But in my head, it's that thing of like, set yourself low expectations so you can't like be disappointed. Because then, you set high expectations, which, by the way, the start of the season, it looked kind of, we set the highest of high. Like, Everett came in, was like, promotion, done. He walked in, when we said that, and then dropped the mic and just walked out the room. Like, we're all kind of like...
Yeah, first game, battered.
Yep, but, I mean, let's not... Listen, first half of the season, I think... Listen, right, I'm going to say something now. Some will agree, some will disagree. I think, if, let's say we could go back and change what happened this season, I wouldn't change a thing. Genuinely. Because, leading up to January, we were still pretty average, if that. We managed to come up a couple of places, pick up a few points, and then it all fell apart. And then, But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about our season at all, because it took us being almost in a relegation battle to then, sign players like Madison, like Afolayan, and then shoot up the table. So I'm happy with how our season's gone. Obviously, it was stressful at the time, don't get me wrong, but, it is what it is. Football is unpredictable, which... we've said this whole season. I mean, literally, prime example of it is literally we were like sat 21st, something like that.
20th,
and like 5-6 games in, something like that, and then
yeah,
now we're fighting for the title essentially.
we were sat 20th till November.
I don't actually know. I'm going to look at the top 3 right now because I know we're on like 70 something points. I
think on 71, 70, 72, 73, I'm going to say. My head's just gone.
What did you say?
I said 71 for us. 72, 73, 70.
You're already wrong. But
Sure.
Cambridge, 77.
Jesus.
Sat in first. Second, Cheltenham, 75. And we, at third, are on 73. So...
What's more? Come on.
72.
And what's fifth?
Scares me. Tranmere, 69, so we don't really have to worry about them. But, I mean, we weren't worried about Tranmere. But anyway, yeah, Morecambe game, absolute must win. Do you reckon we will win?
Yeah, 1-0. 1-0. I'm saying it now, 1-0.
This is where I'd start to be more negative again. I'll be honest. Listen. If ever, right, I don't understand his choice of team on Tuesday. He didn't change anything, and we just lost. Like, how can you lose a game and then not even change one player?
I'm saying this now. Do not put Jensen in, because Jilt's hopefully he's okay for Saturday.
Well, I mean, I've not seen anything about it, so I would assume he was fine. But I'll be honest, given as well the past couple of games Morecambe have had, they've scored 4 goals in the past 2 games.
Yeah, and I'm fearing of us getting battered, that's why.
As in, like, by the way, when I say that, I don't mean as in, like, they've scored a combined 4 goals. They've scored 8 goals in the past 2 games. Like, it's ridiculous, to be quite honest.
And Cambridge have done the same as well. Jesus Christ, they're battering teams.
Yeah, but we don't have to play Cambridge, so I'm not too bothered. We have to play Morecambe.
We need them to lose.
Like, even talking about it now, right, I'm bricking it. Because like I said, we've got everything to lose right now. Like, if we even lose one of these 3 games, that could be it. You know, we lose on Saturday, where then we've got a bit of a gap too, because they'll go ahead, so we'll have a 4-point, gap to close in 2 games, which obviously, if Morecambe still win, we won't do. So we absolutely have to win, and if we don't win, we'd have to take a draw, because Tranmere won't be able to catch us from that game. But then there's even more pressure on the final game for us. That's the only issue. But yeah, I mean, I personally think we're gonna bottle this. I can't lie.
People wonder why I get annoyed with him.
Yeah. Nah, but listen, right? I think one of us have made this point before. Given Bolton's track record, and just Bolton in general has a bit of a reputation for bottling stuff like this. We just do.
Just quoted yourself from earlier.
Yeah, like that's never going to go away. It's always going to be in the back of my mind. It's just now it's more. It's there because it's like there's so much on the line for Bolton. So I'm gonna say 2-1 loss. Listen, obviously I hope we win. Of course I do, but just going off of our last 2 games and Morecambe's last 2 games, Morecambe are the better side. Like, on paper we win, but football's not played on paper. So, I don't know. But obviously this is where we disagree, because I can tell he's fuming right now. He wants to go sick of it. I can tell.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, go for it, lad.
There's
Try and
nothing
convince me
positive
otherwise.
with you.
Nah, well, that's a lie. Surely. I mean, I'm skeptical. Like, that's different. There's been skeptical, and then there's been like, oh no, we're going to lose 17,000 nil. Like, but I don't know. Like, you have to look at the facts though as well. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I get, we're gonna back Bolton. I'm still backing Bolton just because I think we may lose. Doesn't mean I want us to. I don't want to be right. I do if I predict a win, but I mean, looking at the facts, if we play that Morecambe game like we've played our past 2 games, we've got no chance. Like, if you look at it, yes, our defence was good, and that's the reason we won the game, but we need to either score more goals or Morecambe need to just turn up and flop. It's one of the two, and quite frankly, we just need to score more goals in general.
Just drop kick one of the players when the ref's not seeing it.
Bit far. But yeah, so did you give a score prediction? I don't remember.
Yeah, 1-0.
1-0, right.
So I can see it being that scoreline.
Bro. Is it bad that I can kind of see it? I'm not going to say it. He's going to get more annoyed at me. So I'm just going to keep this one to myself.
No, you've already said it.
No, this one's worse. So I'll just keep it to myself.
No. I already know where he's going.
Do you, though? I don't think you do.
You're going to say 4-0 loss, aren't you?
No, like my actual prediction, I think we'll lose 2-0. But
Well,
yeah.
Did you say 2-0?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier, right?
You said 2-1 earlier.
2-1.
Now you've just changed it.
2-1. That's what I meant. Leave me alone. But yeah, and then obviously after that we've got Exeter, and then Crawley. See, the final 2 games. Well, the final game
is a win.
I think we definitely should win that. That's obviously it's not guaranteed because it's football, but we should in theory win that comfortably. But Morecambe is by far the toughest challenge we've got now. We just have to focus on them. But yeah, something needs to change because I think it might be in midfield. I think we need something to change. Obviously, the defence, that's perfect. Like, well, not perfect. You can't. There's no such thing as a perfect defence, is there? But you know, Baptiste Santos doing a pretty damn good job. And then
That is growth.
Gethin Jones as well. To be fair, he's putting in shifts. But yeah, I think if I'm honest, Afolayan has made a difference in these past couple of games. Don't know if I'd start him, to be honest.
I may be mean.
Probably.
Take Thomason out.
Yeah, I can back that, to be honest.
Put Isgrove in his place. Elbis Eddie on the other side.
Honestly, that's a good shout. But yeah. Obviously, Everett hasn't necessarily done things by the book this season, to say the least.
When's Salas back?
Well, I think he was supposed to be back, but there's not really been anything said on it, so I don't know.
Hopefully he's back for tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
His
Saturday.
recent injury was the groin one, right? Or was it hamstring? Yeah, groin. So he was only supposed to be out 3-4 weeks. So I think he should have been back now. But unless Everett's kind of just said, no, just rest for the rest of the season. I don't know. But, I mean, look, we're doing all right. So as long as we keep picking up 3 points, we take it. Even if it's a scrappy game. Which, by the way, I saw a lot of people complaining about that. Like, I'm not being funny. I'd much rather have a scrappy game and come away with 3 points than have a scrappy game and lose. Just personally. But, yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Quick rundown of, stuff we're going to be doing after the season's finished. Obviously, there will be, whenever the transfer window opens, there will be obviously, transfer rumours and whatever. But I think we'll do predictions. I don't know if we will do it as a video or if we'll just do it in the podcast. But I don't know, because that went down really well last time. So I think I may do it this time, just to kind of... I mean, the original plan last time was that we both do it in the same video, but then we got half the team drunk and looked at the wrong thing, so I didn't know who'd been promoted or relegated. So,
I still got me end of season one too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of obviously the YouTube channel. If you are watching on YouTube, we don't really do videos there anymore. We can do. We just need any suggestions you have, then let us know. But yeah, in terms of when the season's finished, we'll do I'm thinking of doing a season review podcast after the season. Maybe a week after the season's finished and stuff, just reflect and truly appreciate how far we've actually come this season. Assuming we go up. If not, then it'll be a rant. But, yeah, I mean, listen, if we do end up in the playoffs for whatever reason, there's more podcasts. That's the positive I'll take. It's more podcasts, more match previews. But yeah, I'm thinking as well, we kind of do this as seasons. So on Spotify, you can have seasons and stuff. Probably should have been doing this as we were going, but it's fine. So I think when the next season starts, that's when we will officially move into our next season. Hopefully. If not, then nothing's going to change regardless. But I don't know why I even mentioned it, but but yeah, so we will probably do the predictions. That'll either be a video or we'll do it as a podcast, just so then we could both do it. It depends. What else? There's not. See, that's when though our schedule for podcasts may differ. It may not be every week because stuff might not happen. If there's transfer rumours, we'll obviously, talk about that in an episode. But obviously if nothing happens, then we probably won't do a podcast for that week. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. I appreciate everybody. If you've even made it this far in, I think we've been going for an hour. So yeah, do appreciate everybody watching and listening. Remember, if you are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you're on. Then do give us a 5-star review. I think that's all you do on podcast. I'm still not used to this, but yeah. And then if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below on, you know, I was gonna say give us your thoughts on the Super League. I think everybody knows people's opinions on the Super League. Yeah, give us your predictions for the game on Saturday. Do you think Bolton will bottle it, or do you think we will get automatics? But yeah, thank you all for watching and listening, and we will be back, hopefully still in 3rd place, next week. The look Tyler just gave me. Oh no. All right, peace.